So I'm going to have you raise your right hand, do you repeat after me, and then I'm going to have you sign this. Okay? I
I, Curtis Walker,
do solemnly swear and promise
do solemnly swear and promise
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties incumbent upon me
the duties incumbent upon me
as a member of
as a member of
the Summit Metro Parks Board,
the Summit Metro Parks Board,
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been appointed.
This I shall do as I shall answer unto God.
This I shall do, so I shall answer to God.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I think we need a nomination for a president.
I move that Joel Bailey be president for 2022.
Second.
Thank you. All right, so there is, I don't believe this has to be a roll call, so this is, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Wonderful.
All right, Mr. President, would you like to carry the next?
Okay, well, welcome everybody. Thank you. I have a few prepared comments that I'll get to later. That's a joke. We would like to now entertain any motions for the vice chair of the Board of Park Commissioners for Summit County for 2022. Are there any nominations?
I nominate Mark.
Thank you.
I will second that. All those in favor of Mr. Spezak being the vice chair?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it, so congratulations. Is there just two, or is there three?
Then there's the second vice chair, so you need a nomination for second vice chair.
Ooh, there's second vice chair. That's a heartbeat from a heartbeat away.
2 weeks away.
Okay. All right. I'm allowed to nominate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would nominate Reverend Dr. Curtis Walker to be the second vice chair on his first meeting.
I'll second that.
There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. So we have our new slate of elected leadership for 2022. Congratulations, and look forward to working with you all.
It's usually when you don't show up, you get elected.
Right. It's always good to see Judge Stormer, and also we want to welcome Reverend Walker and Teresa Carter to our board. We're going to miss Tanya Block and Tina Ugrin. They were wonderful board members and contributed in many, many ways over years, and we will miss them, but we look forward to working with you in your service. And we trust your experience will be similar to Mark's and Herb's and mine, and that is, it will be a very good experience, I believe, for you. Metro Parks are well-loved, they're well-run, they're well-funded, and they're a tremendous asset to the entire county, not just this part of the county or that part of the county, but I would argue the entire county. So with that, I guess we now have a roll call.
Yes, sir. Joel Bailey,
Here.
Mark Spezak,
Here.
Dr. Walker,
Present.
Teresa Carter. Here. Herb Newman.
Here.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the December 14 minutes. I guess our two newest members weren't there, so they probably were not. Can they vote on it?
They got them to review.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So they got them the same as you, but
Okay,
I'll
so
leave it
that,
up to
it's
them if
okay
they
for
want.
them to vote on it.
They can
If
vote
they've
or they
reviewed
can
them, then
abstain.
you're free to vote on it. Is there a motion to approve the December 14 minutes?
So moved.
Okay, Reverend Walker moved and second by Mr. Spezak. That's a voice.
All in favor?
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Minutes stand approved from December. All right. Executive Director report.
So today, Stephanie is going to give us an update from the marketing department. But before she does that, I have a couple things from the director's report I just want to call to your attention. Something that's been very popular, and you might have, it'd be easy to glaze over, but under our community engagement section on the second page, under the nature realm, we continue to have we had 3 Balaflex classes, and the reason I bring that up is a lot of people don't realize that we're doing seated exercise online. It's one of the programs that we offer. So I just wanted to call that to your attention because it's fun to see that people from all over are logging in to do that over their lunch hour and many times from their offices. So just thought I would highlight that for you. Also, let's see, in our conservation department, just wanted to highlight that they are continuing to monitor the work that we did, the restoration work that we did at Valley View, and Mike has stated that the metrics are positive and indicative of a recovering ecosystem. So of course, that's exactly what we want from our conservation efforts. So I thought I would highlight that for you. Also, so it falls under human resources, but our volunteers are under Alex's umbrella. And I wanted to highlight for you that we do projects for groups that want to volunteer in the park, and they're called Done in a Day. So we had 1,154 hours last year from groups that volunteered from corporations or Girl Scouts or whatever it might be. So that's part of the overall hours that we count. But I thought that was very impressive for a year where we continued to struggle with the pandemic.
I have a question about Dun. Is that something that the companies come to us?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just come to us, we don't go out and solicit?
We have plenty that come to us.
Okay.
We haven't had to go out and solicit that I'm aware of. But they come to us because they want to do a volunteer project, and they like to do them in the parks, and we're happy to oblige.
So we come up with the program when they come in and say, we want to do something, we got something on hand on the shelf ready to go.
Typically, there's a bevy of things.
There's a partnership with operations.
Yes.
Of big projects that may be done, and Della logs those are volunteer manager services. And then so when those corporations come and want to do something, she'll partner with the appropriate park manager to execute that program.
There are a handful of projects that we like to do annually, so that's obviously sort of a foundation, but the park managers are usually not at a loss to find something that they could use some help with.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I also wanted to point out, under operations, we have our hot off the press visitation from last year. So through the end of December, we had 5,680,536. So we're just a hair down from the year before, but that was to be expected. That big surge during COVID put us right under 6 million, which we were very happy to share with the public. But that's still a very impressive number if you could compare it to 2019, which was 4.7 million. So we're happy for all the new visitors that have found us. On page 7, there's a graphic there that I wanted to call your attention to. That is a computer rendered graphic of the next phase of Valley View. So where the driveway currently ends, we'll be picking up that driveway, and then is that south? We go south, Nick?
Kind of west, at least.
Okay, thanks. So what this graphic is showing is the parking lot that will serve the 2 buildings that you see there. So there's a restroom building and a shelter, a large shelter. And then there's lots of development on the site, which will provide a large lawn for events. There's going to be kayak and canoe access there. So really wanting to help the public get down to the river is the goal for that area. So it's going to be really unique. And I thought I'd just explain what you're looking at in that little graphic. There are a couple more on the following page. I also wanted to highlight under our grant activity that we currently have $1.98 million of grants that we currently have applied for and are waiting word for, but also $7.1 million in grants that have been awarded that we have in our hopper right now.
7.1 for over what period of time?
They're all a little bit different. Is there a certain, it's hard to,
It's several year times because we try to talk to each granting organization because we only have so much funds to advance. As you know, as I do the advances, then we get the reimbursements and we can continue on with the projects.
and also the list that you see here, it was varying, all different dates in which we applied and projects we applied for. So these are ones that are still going on. So, because they all have different timeframes, some are dropping off, other new ones are coming in.
Staggered, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I wanted to highlight under the Ranger report that we again participated in the Shop with a Cop at holidays. So we had 14 kids this year to participate in the Shop with a Cop. So we really enjoy doing that, and we'll see continuing that every year. All right, Stephanie, I don't want to keep on going. So
You sure?
yes.
I'm really enjoying that.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we had this all set up, so we'll see if it still works. Uh-oh. Will that go away? It'll go away. Okay. Well, thank you. It's so nice to be able to talk to all of you guys and see familiar faces and welcome some of our new faces. I'm always glad to come in and do a marketing strategy overview at the beginning of the year because I feel like once the year gets started, it's like that all gets lost in the shuffle and it's the opportunity has passed. So thanks for letting me do this. So for 2022, so I couldn't you'll have to forgive me, I couldn't jump straight into 22 without looking back at 21 because we had such a big year for the park district, which of course then had implications for the marketing department as well. So we not only opened 2 really significant new park areas with the Summit Lake Nature Center and Valley View, we also celebrated our centennial anniversary. So yay 2021. So I wanted to spend just a second showing you guys the org chart for the marketing department because it has changed pretty significantly recently. So you'll see here that we have kind of like 2 functional areas underneath our marketing department. So we have Lindsay Smith as the brand manager, and she's here. Lindsay, wave to everybody. And then we also have 2 brand new employees. Only one of them was able to make it here today, but Caitlin Friel, you wave to everybody. She's our new marketing specialist. So Caitlin will be working on the other kind of side of the department under Claire Merrick, who is our other new employee, and she's our marketing and public relations manager. So I'm just going to run through the functions in each of these sides of the department real quick, just so you guys kind of have a sense of why we did this. So under Lindsay handles the graphic design, advertising strategy, brand protection, website management, photography, signage, video production, and the gift shop and giveaways. Did I miss anything, Lindsay?
No, that sounds good.
Okay. And on Claire's side, Claire will be overseeing media relations, social media, our editorial process and copywriting, internal and external event planning, our public input process, surveys and polling, our written style standards, and our coordination with the foundation on sponsorships. So that's kind of our new setup. Do you guys have any questions on that before I move on? Okay. So that was kind of how we're organized, and this kind of shows how we work. So I find it helpful to think of the marketing department and kind of these functional buckets, basically, of web and social media, media relations, events, gift shop, advertising, and publications. And all of those sort of work together to enhance our brand and protect our reputation. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention, it's not included on this graphic, but we have graphic designers who really help us achieve all of these different functions and are really critical to our work, which is to inform, attract, and retain visitors and enhance the Metro Parks experience. So looking ahead at 2022, we have 2 major marketing campaigns planned, as well as some other sort of significant messaging needs or opportunities to really communicate closely with the public on some of the things that the Park District is doing. So in the marketing campaign side of things, we're going to be continuing our centennial campaign through the end of May. And the main way that we're going to be doing that is just extending the centennial tour and letting people have to the end of May to finish that up. So we'll be continuing to advertise that through May. And then we're going to shift into a new campaign that encourages residents to use native plants and earth-friendly landscaping practices. So that's something we'll be working really closely with the Conservation Department on, as well as community engagement as well. So we're in the really early planning stages of that, but I'm sure we'll all come back and update you guys on that. So that's something we're hoping to launch this summer, or I should say we are going to launch this summer. So some of the other sort of significant initiatives that don't really meet the campaign criteria, but are also pretty important are our master planning and public input process around Monroe Falls and Silver Creek Metro Parks. Speaking of grants, we have a really significant effort underway in Sand Run right now with some grant funding to restore wildlife habitat and protect some of the infrastructure in that park, and that has had a lot of road closures associated with it, so there's a lot of public communication that goes in around that. Also, Valley View, we're going to have our formal grand opening this year, and that will include all of the granting organizations and elected officials and everybody that has had a hand in the creation of Valley View. So it'll be a pretty big event that'll probably garner a lot of media for us. And then we've also sort of updated our Fall Family Outing event. That event has been in place for, I think, 26 years, Aaron, 27. So we're going to shift the way we do that, which we'll update you guys on. And so that will require us to do some communications with the public as well. So with that, I'll just turn to, I just wanted to share a couple of highlights of what's in our plan for the coming year. So starting with web and social media, these are the social media platforms that we use. We have our main summitmetroparks.org website, and then also right now we have a Centennial website actually as well. And some of the things that we have planned for 22 in this realm are increasing our video content. That's been a trend for a couple of years, and it's a big trend for 2022 that video is really what people are engaging with on social media. So we'll be looking to increase that. And then also just with the changing media landscape, like traditional media, we're looking really at how we can better leverage our blog platform and our social media to share our own story. Just because, print TV and television and all that are going through some major and significant changes, and we can really tell our own story better. And what we also are finding is that when we share a really engaging story on our social media, the local media tend to pick it up. So we'll be looking to sort of double down on that as a tactic. We'll also be exploring a potential for using a social media influencer to help us in our advertising. That's really the direction that advertising is going these days. And then beginning to plan and explore opportunities for our website redesign in the next 2 to 3 years. And just to give you guys a little bit of insight on that, it's not that the design of the website is really the issue, it's the way that it functions and the way that it was built. The way that it's built is really antiquated, which you can't really tell by looking at it, but it doesn't function well at all. So we're starting to look at that, which will save us money in the long term. All right, so on to advertising. This is like the fun stuff, I think. So in the past few years, we've been really trying to use what data we have available to us to specifically target certain audiences and expand our reach to non-traditional park users. We want to make sure that we're reaching people who aren't as familiar with the parks. So we've been doing that by analyzing data through the Summit poll, which tells us the demographics of people who tend to come to the parks and the people who don't tend to come to the parks. And then we can sort of layer that with the various advertising opportunities that we have available to us and who their audiences are to make sure that we're reaching the right folks. So we use a cross-channel approach. We still advertise in print. We advertise on streaming television, radio, digital advertising, and then the question mark sort of represents we've been testing out some new opportunities as well. So in recent years, we've advertised on metro buses, which was really successful. We've advertised in movie cinemas. And then looking into next year, like I said, we're looking into whether influencers make sense for us, and then also digital radio like Pandora and that kind of thing. So I just wanted to, this is last year's advertising package. And so for the first half of this year, our ads, as we continue with the Centennial, our ads will continue to kind of have this look and feel. And then as we shift into the landscaping, native planting campaign, we'll probably refresh and things will look a little bit different. And then I did just want to touch on our events real quick, because in a typical year, in a non-pandemic year, we usually attend more than 100 community events, reaching more than 15,000 people. And that's in addition to the events that we hold ourselves that also draw thousands of people. So this is a really significant way that we really reach the community and touch people in their lives. So fingers crossed, hopefully we'll be transitioning back to more in-person events in 2022. That's the hope anyway. So as I mentioned, we'll also have that fall family outing refresh. And then we're also going to be making some changes to better support our fall hiking spree. Because over the last few years, we've had a huge increase in the number of people who are completing the spree. We went from an average of about 12,000 people per year to the last couple of years, we're more at like 17,000. So that affects kind of like how we distribute the awards, how we help people get them on their staffs and all of that. So we're really looking at kind of like revamping that program to support those higher numbers. So it's a good challenge to have, but it is a challenge. And then I just wanted to touch on this real quick. We did give our BiMonthly publication a little bit of a refresh. It's not a huge change, but we kind of kept most of the elements of the old look, but gave it kind of a fresher, more modern look for this year. So, and you'll see that mirrored probably through some of our other promotional materials as well. All right, so as I wrap up, I just wanted to kind of touch on, these are just kind of the guiding themes that we're using for the year. So as I mentioned, we'll be implementing that department restructure, which, changes the way some of our processes work and how we all, work together as a team and sort of managing that process, continuing to expand our reach in some of the ways that I mentioned, and then also preparing for future initiatives. So in addition to that website redesign that I mentioned, we're also looking to evaluate whether our brand needs to be refreshed, probably not like a complete overhaul, but whether we're ready for a refresh, and especially before we look at doing any kind of new web design, we want to make sure that that piece is in place. Also looking into e-commerce for the gift shop, hoping to move to an online shopping experience for the gift shop into 23. So we'll be researching that this year and then hopefully implementing in 23. And then also looking at how we can better target our young adult visitors or current non-visitors. That 18 to 24 age group is where we kind of lose people. They come in as a kid with their parents, and then they go off into their own lives, and then they come back when they have kids, and we'd love to be able to better target that group that's in college or just starting out their lives. So we'll be looking into that as well. And that's all I have. Thank you so much. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I just have one question. In your marketing and in your research, what is the diverse makeup of the people who visit the Metro Park? Do you have any numbers or any?
Sure.
Write that down.
We do actually, and I don't know if I have the numbers here with me today. Lindsay, you may have them off the top of your head. I don't know, but I can tell you that here I have it right here. Okay, so people who use the parks, their demographics are they're more likely to be registered voters, employed full-time, college graduates or greater education, homeowners with higher incomes and have children in the household. And then folks who are less likely to be familiar with the park are not married, have lower income, over the age of 65, non-white, not registered to vote, and no children in the home. So that's but I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. Lindsay, do you happen to remember?
Not off the top of my head, but I will say, you know, that they're very well attended by a lot of different groups. It's just we're really looking at where the differences are, and it would be very easy to share those numbers.
Absolutely. We do have them, and as Lindsay said, the number of people who do not come to the parks is fairly low. We just want to make sure that we are including them in our outreach.
And did you get that research just from surveys that you sent out and people fill out things online? Did you ask questions, or how do you monitor?
Yeah, we actually take advantage of the Summit poll, which is an annual poll done by the Center for Marketing and Opinion Research. And various organizations can sort of buy in, everybody makes a contribution, and so you get access to all of that general data, and then we also add in a few specific questions for Summit Metro Parks that we track every year as well. We pay a little bit additional for that. So we've been doing that for probably at least 10 years, so we're able to track trends over time, and it's very helpful for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, over time, we would be happy to, you know, bring you into all of the things that we're doing, where our diversity has not been what we want it to be. Although I can say anecdotally, it is better than it's ever been. But we start with the kids. You know, we try to get that pipeline of connecting to nature, starting with the school kids. So we do a lot of outreach with schools. A lot of times that's bringing, you know, Dee, I'm probably not gonna do it justice. If you wanna take this piece, I can let you.
Sure. So currently, over the past 3 years, with our program numbers, we've traditionally not captured the demographics as far as racial demographics. Some age, typically zip codes where people live. So 3 years ago, we came in and we started for programs only though, capturing racial makeup and some more, you know, a little bit of a deeper dive into those numbers. And as Lisa said, we started out with school group programs. It was a bigger chunk. We focus on certain schools that have higher minority populations, higher immigrant and refugee populations. Then we moved to senior populations, and again, working very closely with Friends of Metro Parks, the Minority Health Commissions, Board of Health, and dibbled and dabbled with some significant programs. And Lisa kind of mentioned earlier Ballotplex. That was one of our entry points, and that's one that's continued over 3 years, even without interruption during COVID. So we're pretty proud of that. And we're attracting now adults with varying abilities that are in group home situations that can't just drive to. So now we have another demographic. So we're taking it in chunks and bringing it in. So we've made some significant gains, again, as far as programs are concerned, but as far as general population walking, that would be the numbers within marketing.
Good
Hope that's helpful.
Yeah, good question. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. It sounds like progress has been made, but we need to make more, so we welcome any ideas and thoughts that we can do so. I think that concludes the Executive Director's reports. Item 5 is items removed from the consent agenda. I don't believe there were any. If not, for the benefit of our new members, we have a consent agenda which you get to review each month. And if there are any items that you would like held up or question, need more answers on, whatever, all you have to do is make that known and they'll be held up. And so this month there were none of those items. And therefore, we'll go to item 6, the consent agenda approval of the bills and resolutions. So anything in particular you need to discuss there? Okay, everybody's had a chance to review those, I believe, so I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Mr. Newman has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Spezak has seconded. This is a voice vote?
Yep, all in
Okay.
favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it, and the consent agenda stands approved. Item number 7, unfinished and old business and new business. Let me see. I have not reviewed that. Okay, it looks like we have no unfinished or old business.
I have,
I'm sorry? You have some? Go
I
for it.
don't know whether it's old or new, I'm just curious. How is the reservations and private event reservations continuing at Valley?
I don't have a number.
I don't need a number.
Angie
Yeah.
says good.
Yeah, we are booked. We are all booked just about every weekend through,
Was it starting in May?
yeah, starting in May, yes,
For the
very
benefit
well.
of our new board members, we took a giant leap and for private events allow alcoholic beverages. Knowing that nobody's gonna book a wedding unless they can have a champagne toast, et cetera.
At Himmelwright only.
At Himmelwright only,
Yes.
good addition. So that's working okay?
Yes,
Have we already had events there?
we haven't had like an event there with alcohol yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
just curious to see.
yep, no, there's still,
No.
we had
Okay.
somebody, they had made a reservation, they hadn't paid for it in June, they canceled it, and somebody booked it right away. So it's
Okay.
not gonna be a
Just-
problem, yep.
And one other question, because I get asked about it every day. Sand Run Parkway between Portage Trail and Meerman Road, where it says road closed,
Mhm.
aren't we abandoning that road?
We are in the process of doing plans, and we have a presentation planned for you in March, I believe, to kind of go over that top to bottom. So we have done public polling and all of all the things ahead of time we would want to. At the moment, it's considered an extension of the jogging trail, and that's how the public is using it.
You know there will be 3 complaints, and those will be the 3 people that use it as a shortcut.
Yeah.
I know one of them, yeah.
Get ready, nobody will call you to give you plaudits for what you're
Right.
guaranteed. All right?
Yes.
Marketing and public relations.
Yes.
And by the way, good luck.
We transfer all of those to Stephanie.
That's-
Literally.
Okay. Any other old business? Dee and I were talking before the meeting started about the photography. Dee, you want to just say something real quick about that?
Sure. So take a look around. This is our amateur photography contest. I'm always excited about it because we reach out to the general public and say, hey, show us what you're seeing. All of the photos have to be within our park boundaries. They bring in the submissions, and oftentimes we get up to thousands. There's boxes of pictures everywhere. And these are the ones selected for this year. So this exhibit will be up until June, the 1st of June. So bring people to come and see. Generally, we have a big opening, gallery opening, and obviously for obvious reasons, we didn't do that. We kind of did a little soft, like bring your family quietly kind of thing. But in years past, on the day of the opening, we would have 300 plus people who come for the activity. So this, again, has been going on for many years. And we just ask the public, what do you see? And we want to see what you're seeing, and this is what they're sharing. This year, we're even doing digital?
Yeah, we
Digital
started
gallery.
that last year, and it was extremely popular because last year the center was completely closed. So we featured the selected photos in a video that we shared on social media. People loved, so we're going to keep doing that going forward.
And again, when we talk about outreach, we learn from those digital components like the digital gallery that folks who are not as mobile have opportunity to still partake and participate in park-based activities from their beds, their homes, their nursing homes, group home facilities, etc.
I don't know if you picked up on what Dee said, but there's a brand new strategy afoot based on the pandemic, in that we already know that if we use our typical marketing strategy, we're gonna get a big crowd. So in order to not get a big crowd, to get a more manageable crowd, we will do kind of quiet marketing or a little bit of social media, but not in the Green Islands. For instance, our celebration on the 31st, we had 400 people show up. And we did not advertise that. We specifically did not put it in our program and events guide because we knew we would have thousands, and we don't want to be responsible for gathering a crowd that big. So, we're doing sort of marketing light for certain things where we want to invite the public, but we really don't want to overload an event.
Well, I thought, Dee, it was really interesting because most people have a phone. I know there's people that don't, but I'm always amazed at how many people have a phone, and that's all you need to be able to participate. And the artwork is beautiful, the photography. So nice job, and thank you. Any other items, old business we're done with? New business, we have a resolution, soon to be another one next month, I guess.
Yes.
Authorizing the approval of a resolution acknowledging Tanya Block, our commissioner. This is something that we always do for our commissioners to recognize their service, and usually we give them a gift. I hope we can give her some, maybe the maple leaf on one of the signs or something. So if you could make sure she gets something, that would be wonderful.
Yep, I will continue.
Any changes to the resolution, or do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Okay, Reverend Dr.
Thank you.
Walker is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Spezak. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. And we do appreciate Tanya's service, especially during the health crisis that we've been going through. Having a member of the Summit County Health Board, the number one person after the director herself, has been very valuable, I'm sure, to the Metro Parks. So we're going to miss her.
Yeah.
All right. Correspondence, we show none.
None this month.
Public portion, we always have a little bit of time reserved for anyone that makes it known that they would like to address us. Bridget, would you like to address the group?
We always have a space for Bridget. So this is Bridget in Briscoe. She's the executive director of our Friends Group.
Welcome to the new board members. That's exciting, and Happy New Year to everybody. So I will tell you, Friends of Metro Parks has been around for 30 years. So at the same time as the Metro Parks were celebrating 100 years, we were celebrating 30. So we've been working with the Metro Parks to advocate when state, local issues come up. We are the organization that comes forward and advocates on behalf of the parklands. And we also support outreach programming. We've been doing that for over a decade, beginning with our Outside Is In program. So, and on that note, we have recently received a grant from the Dominion Foundation that we cooked up with Dee over here. We've called it, I think, Career Exploration Program. So we are going to be moving forward with programming in both the spring and the fall that will be outreach on careers in the environmental fields. A lot of focus a bit on the age group of 18 to 23-year-olds, some on younger than that, high school, middle school, and definitely a large focus on improving diversity in environmental careers. So we're excited to be working on that project. We're also happy to be at the New Year's event. It's amazing to me that 400 is a small number, but it's true. And we were grateful. We had a lot of people engage with our board members who hosted a table, and we were able to sign up more advocates, about 30 new advocates, and one person who actually had their checkbook, and became a member for the organization. So definitely a great event and wonderful, great job. I had a great time, and so did my kids. And then the last thing is, we may be the first event, I'm not sure, for a party for the parks at Valley View, which will be on March 25th. This is our, I believe, 6th annual, planning on doing in person, fundraising event for the organization. I will, when I leave the podium, hand the commissioners some information. We've had great support from commissioners in the past and appreciate that. But we expect about 150 people. It will be sort of that shake your winter blues, come out, hopefully be outside at the same time and inside. Local musicians, our signature meandering trails, beer from Archet's Brewing. And we've got Western Reserve Hospital catering again, which, yes, hospital food sounds terrible, but this is actually amazing. So we will be doing that as boxed again. It worked so well last year, it was so easy, which puts all the work on the hospital and not on us, which is fun. So that those, and we're also, for the first time, kids 12 and under are free. I'm not sure how many Friday night 12 and unders will attend, but we want to make that open and accessible. As a mother who no longer has a babysitter because of the pandemic, that's, I think, an important thing to be able to offer people. Any questions?
Any questions? Well, thank you.
Thank you for the time.
March event.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Of course, it's sponsorship information.
Well, I've been to several, and I can tell you they're a lot of fun.
You got the committee on there to write it.
And if you want this electronically, I am happy to send it.
There it is. Okay.
Thank you.
And no other public,
That's all we have.
that's all we have.
Yep.
Okay. I believe that is the extent of our public portion today. We do have item 9, executive session. After I read this heavily legal document, we will vote on that. It'll be a roll call vote, and then we'll go into executive session, have a discussion, and then come out. And if there are any items from that will be public. So let me jump right into it. I ask for a motion that the Board of Park Commissioners adjourn to executive session to consider appointment, employment, discipline, investigation, promotion, demotion, compensation of a Summit County Metro Parks employee, ORC section 121.22 G1, the purchase of property for public purpose pursuant to ORC 121.22 G2, to confer with counsel regarding or concerning disputes that are subject of pending litigation and imminent litigation pursuant to ORC 121.22 G3, and to prepare for discussions with public employees concerning terms and conditions of employment pursuant to ORC 121.22 G4. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll move.
There's a motion and a second. Mr. Newman, roll call?
Joel Bailey,
Yes.
Mark Spisak,
Yes.
Dr. Walker,
Yes.
Teresa Carter, Ed Newman.
Yes.
Okay.
Hardest part being the chair.